Chafing Armor Podcast, Episode 17, Side Quests. Welcome back to the Chafing Armor Podcast. I'm your host, and currently not incarcerated, Michael Corley, and with me today is Lee. Lee, we are doing something special today, so please tell everyone who you are playing today.
G'day, I'm Lee, and as the special edition today, I will be playing, I didn't actually catch how this is pronounced, but I'm going to call it Taka, a human monk.
That is correct. A very special human monk that James is familiar with.
Oh, how exciting.
But James, yes, indeed. And James, you are not playing your normal, lovable, irascible spell scale sorcerer. Who are you playing today?
Hey, everybody. I'm James, and I'm going to be playing today a guy named Cackle. He is a half-orc a ranger thief who was featured shortly in episode 12.
Absolutely. And as we just had before with Taka, Lee is familiar with Cackle, or if he does not remember, he will come to light very soon. Now, what we are doing today is we finished the first major arc of this storyline. Now, by no means, do not worry, gentle listeners. The characters that you have come to know and love have not gone anywhere. But what we're going to do is we're going to do a couple of little adventures here where we touch on the wider world of this campaign. Ooh. And to do that, our wonderful players are going to take on two NPCs that have previously appeared in the campaign. And we're going to begin with a bunting. Now, a few of you, maybe some who have watched Martha Stewart, might be imagining something that you put up on the side of a building on the 4th of July. No one knows how a bunting got its name. But in this world, a bunting is an underground lair. It's usually 2 to 3 miles outside of a major city. And it's where the monsters come to play. This is a neutral ground bar, inn, repository of all that are weird, strange, or who will be killed on sight entering a city. And in this particular bunting, we open with a half-orc. A half-orc whose name is Cackle. And Cackle has recently shifted his careers from highwayman to out-and-out thief. And Cackle, you are sitting around a table. There are some empty bottles of various ales. There are some coins spread out where a poker game had been playing until recently. And you are giving an impassioned speech to the creatures around you of how, if they join you on this quest, they will earn more money in one night than they've ever had in their entire life. Because you are trying to convince them to come with you to get the rod. The missing half of the rod of Seraphim. You believe you know where it is. And you even know who will fence it for you. If you can pull this off, you are going to be more rich than you ever have been in your entire life. So what I'd like you to do is just give me one little taste of what you might be saying to these fellow monsters, these fellow ne'er-do-wells, these people who do not fit in the kingdom of Beltrain and who are now below in a smoky bunting. And you are trying to convince them to come with you on this adventure.
All right. Listen up, everybody. I know you've been living in holes and living in caves and living in The dregs of society most of your lives, but no longer. Just come with me. We'll find this thing and we will be drowning in money. Trust me on this. I will never steer you wrong on this, and because I want the money too. Hmm.
Would you please roll a persuasion roll?
Persuasion. Is that a skill?
If it is not, then you can use your straight charisma roll
Okay,
modifier.
well, all right, well, it's not much, but what the heck. 15, 16.
16. So you see some kind of like mumbling, grumbling, like they were not on board with this before, but they're just ever so slightly. Now around you is nothing but halves. Which is why you actually picked out this. There is literally, and you've never actually seen one before, a half troll, a half ogre, and what appears to be possibly some kind of were creature. You're not quite sure what, but it seems to be permanently in a state of wolf likeness. It's half something. And it's the wolf creature who the only one whose name you know, goes by the name of Mug. And oh boy, what a mug he has. And he says to you, well, this thing's supposed to be super powerful. Like if we goes with you, how do we know you ain't just gonna wipe us out? If we if we get it.
Listen, Teeth, I don't know how to use the thing. I just want to find it and sell it.
And in fact, you do know who to sell it to. There are whispers of what would be this world's version of the mafia. And there are whispers of a character, shall we say. And this character is, you've never met them, but you definitely know them by reputation. They are known as dross, as in the stuff you throw away when you are separating metals.
Hmm.
And dross has two reputations. One, they always honor a deal, and they have put out a tremendous amount of money. They are offering 10,000 gold coins to anyone who can bring them the half of the rod of Seraphim. But they also have one other reputation, and that is that anyone who double crosses them, they will expend every resource in getting their vengeance. Now, you are under no obligation, but you know that if you tried to keep this, it would not go well for you. And in fact, as you said, you don't want to. You just want the money. And you have got some intel of where you believe the other half of the rod of Seraphim is. And you're trying to convince these people, and it seems to be going okay, but then it starts to turn ugly.
Hmm.
And the half troll bangs a big meaty fist on the table. The money and cards skip up half foot. And it says, I don't think we need you at all. And as one, the three of them, the half ogre, the half troll, and the were whatever creature, slowly stand up and begin to draw their weapons. And that's when the door to the bunting slams open, as if a wind had blown it open. And someone walks in. And it's not the usual type to come into the bunting. Not usually the misshapen and the horrifying. This apparently is a human, but there is some touch of the monkey about them. And as they walk in, Taka, would you like to describe how you enter this room?
All right. So, I am well aware I'm walking into a den of iniquity. but at the same time, I don't really care. I'm going to just stride right in, and I'm not really going to care much about who notices or who says anything. And I'm going to do it quickly. It's not a run or anything like that. It's more a lightness of step that just comes naturally.
So with a preternatural grace, this monk walks into the room, and everyone goes a little quiet because they're not quite sure what to do. You clearly aren't completely human, but you're not the type that would normally come in here. And a normal human, or elf, or gnome, or any of the accepted quote-unquote races in the city would be killed on sight if they walked into a bunting. So people aren't quite sure what to do with you. But you are here because you have received a vision. You have received a vision that has told you that someone here has the path to finding the rod of Seraphim. And you believe that you may be on a quest to find it, to restore balance to the world. And you don't know who that is yet, but you see that there's an altercation about to start happening, and 3-on-1, they divert their attention from you, and these 3 characters at the table attack the half-orc. And I would like everyone to roll for initiative.
Oh boy. Be a 13 for me.
13 for Cackle.
Cockle.
And that's a 19 for Taka.
Well.
Probably the person you don't want quite attack.
Sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
I rolled a 19, but I just realized, silly me, didn't add, so that's 23.
23. Well, unsurprisingly, Taka is a wee bit dexterous, and with a few bonuses here and there. So, Taka, you actually get to move first. Now, you have just walked in, and you see these 3 characters attacking this half-orc en masse. You don't know what the circumstances are, but they certainly seem to be coming at him with murderous intent.
Okay, so at this point, I feel like, although Taka really doesn't seem to care much, first things first, Taka is going to attempt to jump into between the half-orc and the 3 of them by doing a handspring with their performance skill in the hope that it will, for want of a better word, distract or delay any further hostilities, allowing me to get a word in edgeways, I suppose.
Okay.
Because there's really no need to fight at this point. So, for my perform skill, that is a 16 plus 8, so 24.
Mm-hmm. You do have a very high perform skill. So you walk in and almost without pausing, without coming to a complete stop, you plant your hand down and spring forward. The ceiling is actually fairly high because buntings have to accommodate full-blood trolls and ogres, so it does have to be fairly large. And so you are easily able to spring forward, and you actually use your quarterstaff to help catapult you forward. And you land actually on the table but in such a manner that you don't upset it in the slightest. The drinks just ever so slightly ding-a-ling-ling, move, but they do not fall. And what would you like to do with your action?
So I will. Can I use another skill?
I will allow it.
Okay. This one's not my best skill, but let's try diplomacy. I'll see how we roll first, and then I will act it out as we go. Oh, that's nice. That's 21 total.
21 total. Okay. Going to. Okay. I would like you to tell me what you are doing in a diplomatic fashion.
Okay. So I will, as Taka's feet hit the table and a little ting-a-ling-a-ling, they will also squat at eye level with the shortest of the crew. Not sure who that is, but
that would be the were creature, who also seems to be somewhat of the leader.
Okay, and just going to say, say, fellas, what seems to be the problem here? I mean, there doesn't really seem to be any need to fight that I can see. Did he not pay his bar tab? Did he cheat at poker? What's going on?
And the were creature jabs a finger that's not holding a short sword at Cackle and says, he thinks that he is going to take the Rod of Seraphim all for himself.
Alright, Taka's not going to let on, or going to try not to let on, that they know what he's talking about. And we'll push for a little bit more information. If he's talking, he's not hitting anything, so the rod of stealing things? Why would, I mean, it sounds cool, but
have you been living under a rock? What are you talking about? It's this stick that's supposed to save the world from, orcs and demons and crap. I mean, it's, the people talk about it all the time, but it got snapped in two during the Great Battle. And one half is supposed to be somewhere near the mountains, but the other half is supposed to be not too far away. And this joker comes in telling us he's got a main line on it. Like I'm supposed to believe that?
Well, I don't blame you, but did you hear him out?
No, they didn't hear me out at all.
Did anybody sit and hear the guy out? Or did you all just leave for your weapons? Because, I mean, let's be honest here. Everyone here is kind of on edge.
You know what? I don't need this. I got things to do. I got people to eat. I don't have to take care of this. And he gestures to the other guys, and they all stand up and they all leave. Every single one just gets up and leaves. And y'all end up not fighting. Cackle, do you have anything that you'd like to say?
See you, boys. Sorry you're going to miss out on a whole lot of money.
Taka is going to sniff the various drinks on the table and find one, hopefully a little palatable, and have a drink. Still squatting on the table.
The drinks here are very similar to wood grain alcohol. They are ridiculously strong because they are generally meant for the palates of non-humans who do, in fact, consume humans from time to time and have rather strong tastes. But you can drink it down without coughing too badly.
Ooh, strong stuff.
Yeah, that's for
now,
sure.
Big fella. Now, big fella. You want to tell me what that was all about?
Well, I'm just trying to rustle up some people to make a few coins and maybe retire a little early. No big deal. They make chairs here. You can use them in everything.
Taka will nod and go and say, "True, but I'm comfortable here."
All right. Well, don't expect me to put $1 in your pants or anything. So just because you're dancing on my
So
table doesn't mean you're going to get paid for it.
I bought a pole and everything. How dare you?
he is right, though. You are still standing on the table.
Yes, and I'm fully aware of that, and I don't care.
Very cool.
I would still like to know, and I would still like an answer to my. Well, I have got an answer to my question, don't I? I will nod and go and say, "So, what was this? What's this rod he's talking about? The rod of
Rod of Seraphim.
The rod
You've
of
never heard of the Rod of
Seraphim.
Seraphim. It's only, been in legend for thousands of years and recently got broken and all hell broke loose. You know all the hell that broke loose around here, right?
I've seen some of it, but you'll have to forgive me. I've been in seclusion for
I guess so. Oh, you were.
quite some time.
I see. I see. I guess when I said people were living in holes and rocks, you were one of them.
Well, and I want to interject because if you would like to tell him your plan, obviously you don't know it because I'm the dungeon master and I know it.
That is correct.
So I will fill you both in. So what through various sneaky methods you have managed to uncover, Cackle, is that you believe that the other half of the Rod of Seraphim has been found by a goblin. And this goblin has made himself a king in a small castle. And a small castle that has been overrun by goblins. It is called Pradlethorn. And Pradlethorn is now ruled by the quote-unquote all-powerful King Midge. And King Midge is reportedly in possession of the other half of the Rod of Seraphim, and it gives him unbelievable powers. But what you found out is that there is a secret entrance to the castle in the exact opposite of the entrance, right above the moat. And that if you were to go through this, you would be able to sneak in there, you would be able to get right up into the throne room, and you'd be able to steal the Rod of Seraphim and get back out without anyone being the wiser. You'd be able to sell it, to fence it off to Dross for 10,000 gold, and you would never have to work again.
And that's the long and short of it. I mean, I was just looking for a little help, I mean, I'm sneaky as all get go, but there's certain aspects of this process that need a little stronger hand than I might be able to provide for myself.
I mean, I'm this stealing thing doesn't.
Well,
It's not to my-
a
it's not to my
goblin has it.
taste,
Isn't
but
really stealing. You're just taking it away from a
it's
little monster, really.
it's still stealing. Come on, it's still stealing. But you're right. It is a goblin, and if this rod truly is what you say it is, it doesn't belong to him anyway. So perhaps, a new master or a new owner, or perhaps their rightful owner should probably have it back.
Let's go with that.
All right, I'll tag along if you'll
Perfect.
have me.
Perfect. Well, you seem to be able to jump around a bit. I'm assuming you can swing a fist or something. You got a stick with you. I suppose you could use the stick, but we'll see how it goes and sort of take it from here. Anyway, I have nobody else, so I may as well say yes.
Excellent. Now there is. You may all assume that you have normal equipment that you would expect to have. There is a sort of general store here in the Bunting, so if there's anything particular that y'all would like before heading out, you can get that here.
Give me just a second. Yes. As a human, I would like to purchase some torches
Mm-hmm.
for light, since
Ugh,
I actually don't
humans.
have the ability to see anything in the dark. And some rope. I should probably write some of this down.
You
Otherwise I
definitely,
forget I
they
have
have
it
all
when I use
kinds
it.
of rope for you. The funny thing is they actually almost can't find, they finally find like 2 really old torches, but they do seem to actually work, do seem to actually be properly made. Because so many of the creatures here don't need them, that they only had a couple laying around like in the back of the storeroom, but they do have a couple that they can sell you.
Alright, I will buy 2 of them. And I will buy it's hemp rope and what's the other one? It's
Silk rope.
silk rope, that's the one. I will buy
I prefer
one of
silk
each.
rope personally.
I'll buy one of each, one hemp and one silk.
And Cackle, you smile to yourself because you heard a story not too long ago of someone that you knew who managed to sell a gnome a completely ordinary piece of rope. And it amuses you to no end to think of that because you actually know the person who pulled off that scam.
Excellent.
But with that, is there anything else?
Yep, I'm just going off how much money I've got. It's not like I have a vow of poverty or anything.
Who would do that? That's crazy talk.
I know, that's
exactly,
just crazy.
right? But Taka is apparently quite well off. Torches, ropes, silk rope. Do they have oil? Little
Oh, yes.
flasks of oil.
Absolutely.
Can I get 4 of those, please?
Okay. They can suit you up in there. You're not sure you want to know exactly what skin the oil skins are made of.
Or where they
You
got
just
the
would
oil
probably, Right.
Yep. Oil and
That was rendered from, yes.
Mm.
and,
I don't think they have a lot of whales around here.
Caltrops.
Yeah, I'll say they have a few caltrops. Not a bunch, but enough for at least one use.
Can I get a 1 pouch of caltrops, please?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right, and that's it.
Excellent.
I reckon I'll pick up an extra bundle of arrows just in case.
Yes, you do have an bow strung around you in a jaunty fashion, and you are not too bad with a bow, and you had used it for the most part successfully as a highwayman not too long ago, but recent events have led you to believe that you should take up another occupation for income. So both of you make your way out of the bunting. The bodyguard looks at you askance, Taka, but says nothing because, again, while you are human, you are clearly not quite human. And you've just skated right on that line of where they're like, okay, well, we won't instantly murder you.
Yep.
I know the feeling.
Yeah, well, and it is something that you're familiar with. You are actually, you are definitely a half orc, but you have enough of the human about you that you could go into Beltrain and not be killed, but you would be considered a second class citizen, and you are very aware of that fact.
Well, that's
and in fact,
that's why
please go
humans are one of my ranger special
Favorite
special
enemies.
targets.
And you have used that very successfully in the past, and you have lifted a lot of coin off a lot of dead humans. So, as y'all make your way out, it is nighttime. The Buntings, they do absolutely have a sort of inn where a lot of creatures who need to take shelter during the sunlight, but they are very active during the night. It is still the middle of the night, just maybe just sideways of midnight, moving towards 1 a.m. And it's only about maybe a day and a half walk to this castle. It's not a huge castle. Neither of you have ever actually been there before, but it was a sort of a minor barony. But both of you had heard word that it had been overrun. But it was only recently that Cackle, you had gotten this really good intel that this so-called King Midge had taken over. And y'all walk through well, I guess I should ask, are you going to just take the King's Road, as it were, at night?
Taka will.
I don't see why not.
No, there's nothing particular to worry about either way. I mean, one, that you're much less likely to get waylaid by a random creature, and at night the roads are not very well patrolled by the King's Guard.
That's all right. I am the waylayer. The waylayer.
Exactly.
I'd like
and
to.
I would please.
I'd like to make it known that it's not anything against Cackle himself, but Taka is going to bring up the rear or behind Cackle and essentially give off the air of a weary traveller by leaning on the quarterstaff as a stick. This is essentially a partially a defensive mechanism, presenting a less valuable target. And also, it just allows Taka to be able to survey the people and things that pass them by, and
I think that's
no one is none the wiser about the true nature of their being.
Letting him know that to underestimate you.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm. I would like both of you to roll a perception check.
Alrighty.
Is that 19 for me? This should be wisdom.
15 for me.
Cackle, you stiffen. You're not quite sure what's going on, but something is going on. Whereas Taka, you actually see movement from a nearby tree. There is a series of pine trees to either side of the road. They're not like just right up next to the road. You aren't like deep in the woods. But they're only about maybe 10 feet away. And you actually see the glint of something which you think is an arrowhead. Now, do you have a skill about grabbing arrows? I do forget and apologize.
I do indeed. However, hopefully I won't ever need to use it, but Taka will not let on that they have, or attempt to not let on that they know about it, but their training will, if necessary, kick in if it happens. But Taka will try not to change body language or change anything, just being aware of that's happening.
Okay. An arrow flies at you. Taka.
I will.
But you are fully aware of what is happening.
So my deflect arrows feat comes into play. Alright, that's fine. Yep, I will just use deflect arrows, and to the best of my knowledge, I don't need to do anything.
Okay. I would like you to go ahead and roll a 20-sided dice, but okay. This is more just not to fail.
No, that's fine. All right, well, that's a nat 20, so...
Okay, yes, so I'll leave it up to you. Do you want to catch it, or do you want to deflect it?
Um,
Or do you want
well,
to block
I,
it with your stick?
I believe catch arrows is a separate feat. I only have deflect arrows.
Gotcha.
I'm going to. I guess deflect is what I would be doing, but I want to do it in such a way as it looks like they missed.
Okay. Well, with a natural 20, I will allow that.
Yeah. So it still hopefully does not give away that there's some preternatural instincts going on here. It's more that Tiger will immediately after the arrow deflection bend down to tie their shoe.
Okay. You catch this glint out of the corner of your eye. The arrow flies, and you lean down like, oh, my sandal. It has become slightly loosened, and it goes over your head.
Exactly.
And Cackle, you see all of this happen out of the corner of your eye.
Right.
And your eye, you are very skilled with the bow, and your eye immediately backtraces it. And you can see the face of Mug in the treetops.
What a shock.
What a shock. And part of you is grimly cackling that this is exactly what you were doing just a few weeks ago, was waylaying people on the roadside. And unsurprisingly, both the half-troll and the half-ogre are charging from either side of the road. Both of them have large clubs in their hand, big knobbly clubs that look like they both shopped at the same club store. And they are coming at both of you, and I would like y'all to roll for initiative.
Roll for what?
Roll for initiative.
Oh, okay. It's a meager 7 for me.
That's a 23 for me.
Another 23. Cackle, what is your dexterity bonus?
My dexterity bonus
Mm-hmm.
is a 4.
Well then you will still attack second because they rolled a 6, 6, and a 7. As my dice continue to betray me. So Taka, obviously you go first. Both of the half troll and the half ogre are coming from either side. You suspect they're trying to flank you, or possibly flank Cackle. They're not to you yet. Whereas the whatever is staying in the tree and knocking another arrow.
Alright. How far away from me are they?
Both of them are less than 10 feet away. They are charging to close the distance in the round before combat.
So I will. I'm trying very, very hard for this one. I'm going to try and maintain the facade with some and act clumsily, but with think drunken master in terms of I'm going to try and use my quarterstaff to trip in my assessment, the one that will hit the hardest, which I'm guessing is the half ogre.
That is most likely correct.
But do it in such a way as it looks like I've done it by accident. So I'm going to roll a perform check to see if I can get away with this performance. And then I will roll to hit. I think I've done it. That's my perform. Yeah, that's a 26 on the perform.
You have a very high performance, as I recall.
Yes. And roll to hit with the quarterstaff. So that's a 24 on the quarterstaff.
Okay. Well, as the half ogre comes towards you with his cudgel raised in the air, you remember your master, who would often make you consume terrible, terrible whiskey, and then have you fight drunken. And with that, you stumble forward, and he focuses on you because you're actually exposing your face to his club, but he does not see your staff as it goes between his legs and goes pop, and he just goes down in a heap, and you all both feel the ground just shake as he falls. And I would like you to just roll a 1d4 for damage for his fall because it's so spectacular. With
Sorry,
no
what was that
damage.
again?
No. Go ahead and roll a 1d4 for the damage for his fall.
Okay.
With no strength bonus.
All right. That's 4.
4? Okay. So he falls flat on his face, and you actually see some blood come out of his nose because he is totally taken by surprise. He was in a full run when you caught him with his staff, and they all think now that you just stumbled and that he fell. And now it is actually your turn, Cackle.
All right. Well, he seems to be dealing with the brutes on the ground, so I'm going to whip out an arrow and see if I can't deal with this were doofus over in the woods.
He will now be known as Were Doofus for the remainder of this campaign.
Excellent, excellent. All right, so let me roll the hit on this guy. I do have 2 attacks with my bow.
Mm-hmm.
10 plus that would be 24.
Okay, that is a hit.
I'm not messing around with this bow. I made sure of that. 8 points with the first arrow.
Okay.
All right, and second arrow comes out quickly. 15, 24 with that one.
That is also a hit.
And another 6, another 8 points there.
Another 8. 8 points. So that's 16 points of damage. So, Taka, you see this just in the blink of an eye. He already had his bow strung, but it comes off his shoulders, and as his left hand is grabbing it, his right hand is already pulling out the arrow. He pivots, turns, looses, even without looking to see if his first strike hits. He's already pulling out the second arrow, which also looses. And you just hear this foom, foom, as it hits Were Doofus right in the chest. And I'm going to make a roll now. And a 5 is not going to be good for him. He falls out of the tree. Because he just took 16 points of damage in the matter of seconds. And I would have made anyone roll to stay in the tree. Which he does not. Fortunately for him, it is only within 10 feet, so he only takes the first point of that, but he takes an additional 6 points of damage for a total of 24. He breaks his neck.
He's dead.
Falling. He falls dead, yes, to the ground, and you hear the sharp snap of his neck breaking, and he is already dead with 2 arrows growing out of his chest. Unfortunately, both of them break for you, Cackle, because he lands on them face first.
Well, he had some on him. I'll take his.
There you go. That is actually quite true. He does. And the troll is still in full run, and he is trying to hit you, Taka. And he rolls a 13. Let me guess. Is that lower, not good enough to hit your armor?
Who, me or?
Oh, no, I'm sorry, Taka.
No, that is not good enough.
Yes, I had a feeling it might not with your various bonuses. And he swings over. So just out of curiosity, are you going to, again, pretend that you're doing this accidentally?
Everything will attempt to be done as an accident.
Okay.
Taka is not yet ready to reveal their martial knowledge just yet.
Then you actually you pretend to be looking at the ogre, like, oh my gosh, what just happened? And as you bend forward, and the club just whoosh, whistles right over your head. And that actually brings it back to you, Taka.
Okay, so knowing that's just happened, I'm going to try it again. This time on the troll. I'm going to try to stand up, because I assume I'm looking over the fallen ogre.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to bring the end of my quarterstaff up between the beast's legs. This is a strike. This is not a trip attempt. And I'm going to, thanks to my magnificent quarterstaff, I'm going to apply my key strike damage to it, which means they no longer get the benefits of any damage reduction they may have. And because I am level 10... sorry, I will just check that one because I only glanced over it for a second. Yes, it means that they are lawful weapons for the purpose of dealing damage to creatures with damage reduction. So, I will roll to hit with my quarterstaff, which is a 23.
That will hit.
And this is key strike damage, which means I believe I get to apply my strength to the melee attack because it treats the weapon as if I was unarmed.
Mm-hmm.
So that means it's D6. So that is a 6 plus my strength 7, so that's 8 damage on the troll's nether regions, shall we say.
That staff comes up and you remember your master teaching you the various key strikes and to see the true weakness, to actually strike the spirit of your opponent. And you were in a long combat with your master, and he took you down with an unexpected strike to your nether regions. And you groaned and looked up at him and said, why? And your master said, sometimes, Taka, you just need to hit them in the balls. And just then, pah! You hit him, and you hear the troll just make this sound, and he drops to the ground. And the fight's actually out of him. Like he stops fighting, and he and the ogre are pretty much done. They do not want to fight you anymore, and the ogre has also stopped fighting. He kind of is slowly picking himself up, but he's backing away, like not in combat anymore, or at least possibly trying to fool you. But neither of them seem to want to fight anymore, with the were-doofus being dead.
Much like every other bully when the leader is gone, so are they spine.
Yep.
Taka is going to apologize profusely to both of them for their clumsiness. And yeah.
All right, Cackle, do you wish to say anything?
Well, I don't know what got into these idiots, but I'm glad they're out of the way. This is just annoying. I'm just, trying to help them make some money, and this is the thanks I get.
They both mutter, sorry, and then they just head off together in the woods. Like, nope, don't want any more of this. Nope. LOL, nope. And they are just done. They do not want any of this. They thought this was just going to be a real easy, quick hit, and part of that is that they so badly underestimated both of you Taka, both because you were so unassuming, and Cackle because they did not expect that kind of skill, honestly, from your bowmanship. Speaking of the bows, did you want to loot the
Yes.
corpse?
Let me get whatever Ares got on him, plus anything else that he might have that's handy.
Well, you can add 10 arrows to your retinue. He also has 10 gold on him. It's actually mostly in silver and such, but it's 10 gold. And he has what seems to possibly be a magic dagger. You're not sure. You're not sure, but you think it might actually be magic.
All right. Well, it goes in the bag. We'll take a look at it later.
Excellent. Well, you all continue your way onward. You find a place to camp during the day and rest for a while, and you regain any things that you may have expended, which in this case, I don't think y'all actually lost anything. But you continue your way off early the next evening, and you come over a hill just as a lightning strike illuminates this crumbling castle. Now, both of you are vaguely aware of Castle Pradlethorn. It was just a minor barony, but this castle looks like it's 1,000 years old. Like it has decayed over a very short period of time. It should not look like this. It looks like it's just ready to collapse. It's also surrounded by a perpetual storm, and you take your first steps near and you feel the ground just squish underneath, and you don't know how long the rain has been flowing, but you can see the gate, a guarded gate, and you can see a path leading around to the back where you think you can find your way through the moat. And that's where we'll end Chafing Armor, episode 17. Thank you very much for both of y'all coming in and playing on this very special episode.
Thank you, kind sir.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.